The scary truth about weak legs after 60 and how to regain strength in just weeks. Hey, call her lonely. They whisper she must be waiting for someone. But what if I told you she's already found what most spend a lifetime chasing, and it has nothing to do with the man? Her mornings are slow, her evenings quiet. Yet inside, there's a fire no one sees. A strength that doesn't need applause, a peace that can't be bought. And in the next few minutes, you'll discover why her choice to stand alone might be the most radical act of love for herself you'll ever hear about. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see love, freedom, and yourself forever. Let me tell you about someone who once felt the same, and how a single discovery changed everything. It was a quiet Tuesday morning in early spring, the kind of morning where sunlight slipped through the curtains in soft golden lines, and the world outside smelled faintly of rain from the night before. Margaret sat at the edge of her bed, her slippers neatly placed on the floor, her walking shoes waiting by the door. She had always been a morning person. For decades, she would rise with the sun, make her tea, and take a short walk around the neighborhood, greeting the postman, smelling the lilacs that grew along the fence, waving to the neighbor's dog. But lately, those walks had stopped. That morning, she didn't even reach for her shoes. Her hands rested still on her lap. Her gaze lingered on the sunlight spilling across the floor, as if she were trying to convince herself to stand. But her legs felt heavy, not just tired, foreign, like they no longer belonged to her. It wasn't pain that kept her there. It was something harder to describe. A quiet, unsettling fear. The fear that if she stood, her knees might buckle, that a single wrong step might send her crashing down. Just 6 months earlier, she had been strong enough to carry groceries up the porch steps. She had tended her roses, leaning into the rich scent of the petals, her hands buried in the soil. Now, even the thought of stepping down those same porch stairs made her heart race. Friends who saw her at church whispered that she was just slowing down with age. But Margaret knew this wasn't the gentle passing of years. Something else had taken hold, something that was stripping away her balance, her strength, and with it, her independence. When her daughter, Emily, invited her to join the family for a walk in the park, Margaret forced a smile. "Maybe next time," she said. What she didn't say was that she no longer trusted her own legs to carry her safely across the grass. That morning, as she sat on the bed in her soft house robe, she felt it again, the faint but unmistakable tingling in her calves. It had been there for weeks, creeping in slowly, sometimes at night. Her legs would twitch, almost as if they were sending her a message. She had ignored it, chalked it up to being tired. But deep down, she knew. This was her body trying to warn her, whispering that something was missing, something vital. And if she didn't listen soon, it might be too late. Margaret's story may sound familiar, because this silent thief of strength doesn't knock on your door. It slips in quietly, and by the time you notice, it's already taken more than you realize. The question is, can you take it back? Goal: explain the causes of leg weakness in a new way, the silent thieves, and help viewers recognize them before it's too late. Tone: revealing, caring, slightly urgent, suggested footage. Chan Kwei Chan, Ngoy Gyaji Cham Chap. Bantay ran hikivinge. Iksen ke hinhan kan hong ke trom tuong trong. Bong mo jong hokat. Daijien hong. Nachne hoi kang tang. Sao jo chuyen sang hen hang. Sometimes what steals your strength isn't loud. It's silent. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Most people think losing strength in the legs is just a part of getting old. But the truth? Age is just the mask. Behind that mask are three silent thieves, slow, invisible, and patient. They don't knock on your door. They slip in quietly, robbing you day by day, until one morning you stand up and realize your legs no longer trust you. The first silent thief is nutrient starvation. Not the kind you notice, like skipping meals, but the hidden kind. When your plate looks full, yet your cells are starving. The nerves that tell your muscles when to move need a protective coat, like insulation around an electric wire. Without it, the messages become scrambled. This is what happens when your body quietly runs low on certain vitamins. You don't feel it right away, but over months and years, the signals get weaker, and so do you. The second thief is time without repair. Every day your muscles take small hits, tiny tears from standing, walking, even just balancing. When you're younger, your body rushes to patch them up, but as you age, the repair crew slows down, and without the right tools, nutrients, rest, gentle movement, those tiny tears pile up into lasting weakness. It's not sudden. It's a slow fade. So slow you might miss it until it's almost too late. The third thief is false comfort. It's the chair that keeps you seated just a little longer. The cozy blanket that makes you skip your morning walk. The quiet belief that resting is better than moving once you're older. But the cruel trick is, the less you move, the faster your muscles forget how. And once they forget, it's much harder to remind them. Here's the part that unsettles me most after decades of listening to patients. Most people don't realize these thieves are at work until their independence is already slipping away. That's why so many say, "I thought this was just normal aging." It's not. It's an imbalance your body has been trying to warn you about, through subtle signs you may have ignored. A strange tingling in your feet at night. A sudden cramp that jolts you awake. Needing to hold onto a wall for balance when you never used to. Or that heavy, tired feeling in your legs after the shortest walk. If any of these sound familiar, it's not just old age. It's your body waving a small red flag. One you still have time to answer. And here's the hopeful truth. Once you can spot the silent thieves, you can stop them. And in many cases, you can even reverse the damage they've done. But to do that, you need to know exactly what's missing and how to give it back in a way your body can actually use. Because when you finally shine a light on these thieves, you'll meet three powerful allies. I call them the healing trio. And they've changed the lives of people who thought they'd never walk confidently again. If the silent thieves are real, then so are the heroes who can stop them. For every patient I've seen lose strength, I've also seen others fight back and win. Not because they found some miracle pill, but because they discovered three quiet allies that had been missing from their lives for years. I call them the healing trio, not because it sounds nice, but because I've watched them rescue people from the edge of losing their independence. The first ally, the protector of your nerves. Imagine every movement, from lifting a spoon to stepping onto your porch, begins with a message sent from your brain. That message must travel down delicate wires to your this protector's job is to rebuild that insulation, wrapping your nerve pathways in strength again. Without it, your legs might feel like strangers to you. With it, your steps feel more certain, your balance steadier. This is why some of my patients who once trembled when standing now move with quiet confidence. The second ally, the keeper of strength. If your muscles are the soldiers that help you stand, climb stairs, or reach for a high shelf, then your bones are the fortress walls they defend. Without strong walls, the soldiers can't fight. The keeper of strength is like sunlight in your blood, invisible but essential. It gives your muscles the power to push and your bones the power to bear. When this ally is absent, even a short walk can feel like hauling a heavy load uphill. But when it returns, your muscles answer when called, your bones feel more grounded under you, and movement no longer feels like a risk. The third ally, the silent conductor. Every orchestra needs a conductor, the one who keeps the rhythm. Without one, the violins rush ahead, the drums lag behind, and the music collapses into chaos. Your muscles are the instruments, and this ally. It makes sure they contract and relax in perfect harmony. Without it, a sudden cramp can seize you in the middle of the night, stealing your sleep and leaving you limping the next day. With it, your muscles work in quiet cooperation, letting you wake rested and ready. Here's what's remarkable. Many older adults are missing all three without knowing it. Their protector is gone, their keeper is silent, their conductor absent. And yet, by bringing them back, often through simple daily changes, I've seen transformations that even their families didn't believe possible. But, and this is critical, knowing their names isn't enough. You have to know how to bring them back, when to feed them, and which everyday habits might be quietly driving them away again. Because when you give these allies the right support, they don't just protect you, they rebuild you. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how to turn that knowledge into power, starting today, in your own kitchen. Knowing the heroes is one thing, inviting them into your life is another. You now know the three allies that can protect your legs, steady your steps, and guard your independence. But here's the truth most people don't realize. If you don't give them what they need every single day, they fade away again. That's why I tell my patients, don't wait for a special occasion, a doctor's order, or a crisis. Start today, because every day you delay is another day those silent thieves keep taking from you. Step 1. Feed the protector. The protector thrives on certain foods that slip easily into your routine. A boiled egg in the morning, a small piece of chicken at lunch, or a spoon of creamy yogurt in the afternoon. If meat isn't part of your life, there are other ways. Plant-based milks fortified with the right nutrients, or even a sprinkle of nutritional yeast over vegetables. The key is consistency. You can't call in a guard once a week and expect him to stand watch. This guard needs to be there, day and night. Step 2. Awaken the keeper. Your keeper loves the sun, but not the harsh midday blaze. The gentle golden light of early morning. Just 10-15 minutes on your porch or by an open window can begin to refill the keeper's reserves. Pair that sunlight with foods that whisper strength into your bones. A fillet of salmon, a serving of sardines, or for those who prefer plants, fortified soy or almond milk. Every bite is a brick in the wall that holds you upright. Step 3. Support the silent conductor. This ally works in the background, so it's easy to forget him until a 3 a.m. cramp wakes you in pain. A handful of almonds before bed, a few pumpkin seeds as an afternoon snack, or dark leafy greens with dinner can keep the music of your muscles in perfect time. One patient of mine began adding spinach to her evening soup, and within weeks, she told me she could sleep through the night without fear of being jolted awake. Why timing matters. Think of your allies like a team. Feed the protector early in the day so he's on duty when you move most. Let the keeper soak in sunlight before noon so he's energized to fortify you. Give the silent conductor his cues in the evening so he can guide your muscles through the night. Small steps, repeated daily, are how you rebuild an army. And the beautiful part? None of this requires expensive supplements, exotic diets, or drastic changes. Just simple, steady care. But here's the part people overlook. Even the strongest allies can be sabotaged. Some everyday habits, common medications, or harmless routines can quietly push them out again, undoing weeks or months of progress without you realizing it. And that's why the next stories I'll share are so important. They're proof that no matter how far you've gone down the road of weakness, you can turn back. You'll hear how people just like you reclaimed not just their legs, but their lives, and how they avoided the traps that could have stolen it all again. And when you've lived with weakness for years, hope can feel like a stranger. But sometimes, hope knocks anyway. Michael's second spring. Michael, 82, once told me he felt like a prisoner in his own body. Every night, without fail, searing cramps would twist his calves, forcing him to curl on the edge of the bed, gripping the sheets until his knuckles turned white. I thought, he said quietly, that I was destined for a wheelchair, and I didn't want to become my children's burden. When we began, he didn't expect miracles, but he agreed to try, because there was nothing left to lose. For 10 minutes each morning, he sat outside in the early sun, hands wrapped around a warm mug, breathing slowly. Lunch always included either salmon or a simple boiled egg. Before bed, half a banana and a handful of almonds. In the first week, nothing. The second week, a slight change, fewer cramps. By the third, he woke one morning and realized something was missing. The pain. 2 months later, he walked into my office without a cane, placed his hand firmly on the desk, and smiled like a man meeting freedom for the first time in years. Clara's garden comeback. Clara, 76, loved her garden more than anything, but her legs had grown too unsteady to carry her among the rows of roses she once tended daily. She followed the same plan: early sun, nutrient-rich meals, magnesium-packed snacks. But for her, the key was consistency. She kept a little notebook, ticking off each habit like watering her plants. By the 6th week, she sent me a photo. She was kneeling in the dirt, hands covered in soil, grinning among blooming lilies. "I planted these myself," the note read, "and I didn't need to sit down halfway." Not just legs, a life reclaimed. Stories like Michael's and Clara's aren't rare. They are proof that your body wants to fight for you. It's just been waiting for the signal. And here's the part that most people never think about. When you restore strength to your legs, you're not just regaining movement. You're taking back freedom. the freedom to visit friends, to shop for yourself, to dance in the kitchen with your grandchildren. But before you imagine this as a perfect straight road, you need to know something crucial. There are hidden traps. Habits, foods, even medications that can silently reverse your progress, pulling you right back to where you started, or worse. That's why before we close, I need to share a final reflection and a warning. Because once you know how to guard your strength, you'll see that keeping it is just as important as winning it back. There's a truth I wish every older adult could hold in their hands like a treasured keepsake. You are not helpless. Not now. Not ever. I've seen hundreds of people arrive in my office convinced their independence was over. Their eyes carried the weight of years of shrinking strength, of surrendering small freedoms one by one. But I've also watched those same eyes light up again. I've seen the first steady step after months of fear, the first laugh from bending without pain, the first hug given without holding onto a wall for balance. If you've been listening this far, it means something inside you already believes there's still a way forward. That small ember of hope. Feed it. Protect it. Act on it. Because here's the part that's dangerous, and not many talk about it. When you wait, the loss doesn't pause. Muscles don't hold their strength for someday. Every week without action is another week the silent thieves chip away at what's yours. And when too much is gone, the climb back becomes far steeper. So I'm asking you, for yourself or for someone you love, don't let today slip by unchanged. Tomorrow morning, before the day has a chance to rush in, give yourself these 3 gifts. 1. A nourishing breakfast, protein-rich, steady fuel for your body. 2. A few minutes of sunlight, soft, early rays to awaken your strength. 3. One small promise. I will not let my legs give up without a fight. Repeat it every day until it's no longer a promise, but a truth you live. And if what you've heard today has lit even the smallest spark inside you, keep it alive. Subscribe so you'll have a companion on this journey. Leave a comment sharing the first step you'll take. Share this video with someone whose steps are slowing. You might give them back more than strength. You might give them back their life. Final words. No one should walk this road alone, and with each step you take, steady, strong, and yours, you prove that age may shape us, but it does not define our limits.